How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, I am a stylized metahuman. Got me a nice chin and I'm nice and elongated. And this is going to be the future of my short films. It takes, it's a little bit of a different process. And of course, you cannot scan your face for this. You must have a mesh that you either build yourself, which I'm going to do, or you just buy it, which I actually did for this tutorial. So yeah, this works excellent. And as you can see, very good stylization, very good range of motion. I do still have the normal metahuman body, but it's amazing what we can do now. And we can just have stylized faces. I think this is one of the best things ever. And I'm going to show you how to do it right now. All you need to have is a mesh that is cartoony looking, or any mesh for that matter that you want to have with the metahuman. The only thing that I'm doing here is pretty much taking advantage of the facial rig, which is fantastic. And as you can see, it works with the stylized faces as well. Now, there are some limitations, and we're going to talk about those limitations in this tutorial, but they're not as bad as you think, and I'm pretty sure they'll get fixed in the future. Now, a shout out to my level 2 patrons. I have 2 levels of patrons. If you're interested, one, you get some perks on Discord, and the second level, you get early access to the videos and a shout out here, like you're seeing on screen. There's the Twitter. Remember, if you can't do Patreon, then leaving a like and leaving a comment for the YouTube algorithm goes a long way. There's the Twitter if you want to follow me there. I sometimes post things on Instagram, so if you want to follow me there as well. The Discord, very important. If you have any questions, if you're having any trouble with my tutorials, the Discord is the best place to ask questions. Now, let's get into the video. Okay, here in Blender, I have the head of a character that I purchased off CG Trader. Actually, I had to delete his body because we're not using the body. But I just wanted to show you a couple of things that you can do in Blender. One is take care of the neck. So this particular character had a very long neck that went into the body. If you have a stylized character that has a long neck, I suggest that you take care of that and only leave the face. Now, the reason why we want to get rid of the neck is because when the metahuman solver is creating this into a mesh, it will try to put this neck on top of the metahuman neck, and you pretty much will get a giraffe of a character. So to avoid neck giraffing over there, I really suggest that you get rid of the neck. It's not going to add anything to your character unless you have a very particular neck, which in that case, it's probably just going to interfere because that's another limitation from the mesh to metahuman, is they only allow the amount of neck that a metahuman, the regular metahuman mesh can have. So if you have one of those stylized characters that has a very broad neck, it's not going to carry over. It's just going to look like a big bulge on their neck. Or if you have a long neck like this guy, then it's just going to look like a giraffe. So I'm just going to select everything. In case you haven't done this in Blender, just select your face with object mode, go to edit mode, and just select a lot of polygons. Just hold press X, go to faces, and then just start deleting. So I'm just gonna select a bunch from here. It doesn't have to be the prettiest. It doesn't have to be the most symmetrical or anything, as long as you delete it from the front is what actually matters. So I'm just going to keep deleting these, and I'll see you back in Unreal. Okay, here in Unreal I have the head. Now it doesn't have the full materials as it should, because this head is low. Even though it says low poly when I bought it, it's very well defined. If I go into wireframe, you can see that it's kind of dense, so I don't need the normal map or any of the other maps. What I do need is the diffuse, which is actually what they recommend. It looks a little bit different than when I bought it, but that's fine. I don't care about that. It's just something to differentiate the face from the eyes and everything else, because that's really important when tracking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breeze through this process. If you're new to Mesh to Metahuman, I'm going to leave the video that I made before this one, which is the scan of my head. So I go step by step into how to do it. I'm just going to go by pretty quickly here so this doesn't take so long. So right click, Metahuman, identity, call it stylized. There you go, components, stylized. There we go. We have our head here. Let me position camera to where we are close to it. And field view, there you go, 20. That is fine. Just going to try to get into the center. It is in the center. Now I'm going to promote frame. I'm going to track active frame. That actually was very, very quick. One issue here is that this character has very round lips in the top part, and usually this will ask you to have like a philtrum. This is the thing that's in the middle of your between your nose and your upper lips, called a philtrum. It also has some weird names. Now, one of the things that we can do here, and it's good that this happened, is so I can show you how to modify these things. And as you can see, it did a very poor job at the eyes as well, but it's okay, we can fix those. Now we can grab these little circles right here, move it this way, or we can just grab it by segment and move things this way. So I'm just gonna grab this segment, there you go, and move it around here. Same with this segment. Come on, can I grab it? If you're having a hard time grabbing the segment, then you can just grab the circles. It's the same thing. I'm just gonna move the circles over here. All right. So more or less, he's gonna have a bit of a narrow lips, but that's fine. It's part of the stylization. And this looks like it's too big. I'm just rearranging these. All right. It doesn't have to be fully symmetrical because it's still a face, and a face is never symmetrical. If a face is super symmetrical, then it's probably CGI. But yeah, an asymmetrical face, it's what helps a little with the realism of the character. And I think this is fine. I'm just gonna keep it around here. I'm probably going to close these so he doesn't show up with an open mouth. Now we need to go into the eyes and we need to fix this segment. As you can see, all we have to do is move it around this way, and then we'll just move the circle over here. So it encompasses the whole eye more or less. And again, this is a process that doesn't take much because the tracker does a decent job from the start. It's just for these, it couldn't take it. And this, from my experiments, this usually happens with characters that do not have an actual human face. So this one is very stylized. And sometimes this happens. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, so it's not fully on top of the eye. I think that's the eyelash. It's probably a little bit thicker than you'd like. There you go. All right. Now, another thing that we can do is we can track the eyebrows if we wanted to add a little bit more definition to our character. I'm just going to add a little bit more resolution here. So it's 1, 2, and 1, 2. There you go. Yeah, I can really spend all day just making sure that this is well done. Anyways, that's more or less where I would like this thing to be. Now I'm going to leave it here. You could turn on some of these, and as you can see, if I turn on the left eyebrow, it shows up here. It has a bunch of resolution, but I'm not going to use it, to be honest. I'm just going to solve it the way that it is because I think this will give me a decent result. So I'm just going to identity solve, and it's done. All right, so I can go to B and see how it's looking, get out of neutral pose. And as you can see, the stylization is actually pretty good. you can see that the face, even though the face is very elongated to the bottom, the nose is very long to the bottom as well and has a very particular shape, it still captures. So it is possible to do pretty cool stylized characters here. Now, all I have to do is choose his body. By the way, this is the part that I was talking about in the Blender portion of this video, where if I were to keep his actual neck, because his actual neck from the body that I had this character with, it's a little bit longer for stylization purposes. But if I were to leave that neck here, then he'll have like a double neck. So make sure you take care of that as well. So I'm just gonna go here. I'm going to select this one. I'm just going to do, let's do average height, and let's send it to Metahumans. All right, I'm going to wait for it to process this character, and I'll see you back at Metahuman Creator. Okay, here we are in Metahuman Creator, and as you can see, he translated pretty well to the Metahuman Creator. However, I think that his face was a little bit more elongated when we had him here in the engine. Yes, it was, but it's still looking really good, and you can see he's deforming pretty well. Now you can see I already tested this a little bit ago with some crazy results, but this is by far one of the best results that I've had with stylization. So let's select him. And when you're dealing with stylized characters, one of the limitations, you're probably looking at it on screen right now, is the eyes. So when you do stylized characters, one of the most common stylized feature is the eyes, but unfortunately that has a limitation here in the Metahuman Creator. As you can see, these eyes were probably a little bit too wide for their limits, and that's why you're seeing kind of like this shadow around here. So we're gonna have to fix that here in the custom mesh section. But just to make you aware that that is one of the caveats, that if you do eyes too wide, you're going to have these problems. Otherwise, the rest of the face is looking good. There's a little bit of weirdness on the ear, but otherwise it's looking great. I like how his chin is presenting. His lip is a little bit crooked to the side, which is fine. We can fix that too. And I like how his nose is positioned as well. All right, so let's get into the custom mesh part. And we're going to do some fixes here. I usually go like in the skull. I usually go all the way down, because we really don't, there's not much of a change here like this from this. I rather it's made for more of a metahuman. Same with this part. Let's see if this has any influence on the shape of our head. I think I'm going to leave it around 0.7. Now the part that we really need to take care of is the eyes. So if you go into the eyes right here, I'm going to move the slider until I no longer see that issue. Unfortunately, we had to go all the way down. So it really had to change our eyes from what they were. But honestly, our character still feels really stylized. Now there are other things that we could do. So maybe we could move these a little bit further here. Let's look at the eyebrows. What is it doing if I go this way? Oh, it rounds them up and it looks like an alien. No way, no thanks. I'm just gonna keep it this way. That looks a lot better. What about the ears? Let's see. Okay, those are a little bit of better ears. I'm going to leave it at that. Everything else is fine. What about the lips? Okay, that took care of that. Let's see over here in this region. Nope, that actually destroys it. Let me just keep it here, all right? And again, it's fine that our face is not completely symmetrical. Now, once we're done here, we need to go to, let's just design the skin. Just gonna do this, boom. All right, so we started with some skin. I'm just gonna make him a little bit of a shade lighter around here. I think this is perfect for him. Now I'm going to do a full stylized. That means that, you know, picture style. So for that, we're going to have to get rid of the freckles, and we're going to have to diminish the amount of wrinkling and everything else. Although I I am liking how he looks this way. I probably leave him as he is right now. Let's look at the contrast. There's some variations that we can have here. Roughness. You can have a more realistic face if you diminish the roughness. But if we want to have kind of like a Pixar style, then you need the roughness almost all the way up. Never go full 1 or full 0 because that doesn't exist in the real world. Just leave it around here or around here. So I'm just gonna go this way. The eyes are fine, so I think I'm just gonna give him some blue eyes. And the teeth, wow, that is all kinds of creepy. Let's not go there. Now this is another thing. If you're going for that more cartoony style of stylized as opposed to the more stylized, realistic, and for some that maybe doesn't make any sense, the best way that I can compare it to is to what you see in Love, Death and Robots. You sometimes see some stylization with realistic skin, which I think it's really good looking. But you can also apply foundation if you want him to look more like a Pixar character, kind of like more dull-ish. So if you apply foundation, make it a little bit more intense, make it all the way down here, you see that he looks more like a doll, and it helps with the stylization a lot. So there's also this concealer, which I don't think it's doing much. That's probably too much foundation. I'm just going to leave him over there. Let's see the difference between foundation. So yeah, it gets rid of a little bit of the texturing underneath, which in this case we are looking for. Now let's look at the hair. Let's look at what kind of hair we're gonna give him. Let's see, some cool hair like this. That's pretty cool hair for him. Let's see what other kinds of hairstyles would fit this character. He looks more like a serious type of character. So let's not do the mohawk. Let's just do something a little bit more like this. I think I'm gonna keep this hairstyle. That's pretty nice. Let's look at the presets. I always just use the preset. I never do custom colors. So let's see, around here, let's do this color. I like this color. Then there's the details here. If you want to add some ombres to this character, I think that looks like he is one of those boy bands from the 90s. So I'm just gonna click away, and I'm just gonna leave this character this way. Let's see how the beard and mustache look in a character like this. So let's try this one. That is pretty funny. It actually looks pretty good. Let's see the beard. Let's just give him some beard. Oh, that looks really cool. If we go to mustache and let's do, yeah. Looks like he hasn't shaved in a while, and I think this gives a lot of character to this character. Let's try other types of beard. See, this one looks more like he didn't shave well. This looks kind of like Doctor Strange, which is good. Let's see. Let's see the, okay, so, oh, let's try this one. Oh yeah, he's full on Abe Lincoln. Yep. We went full on Abe Lincoln with this one. That's pretty good. I like how this character is looking. So I'm just gonna leave it as at this level. I think he's pretty cool. Now let's go to proportions. I'm just gonna leave it as it is, average, regular build. Let's go to tops. Let's add a regular shirt. And let's go to bottoms and let's add some jeans. Now let's go here, let's go to body. And there you go. Now, it does feel like his body doesn't belong to that head, but now it doesn't look like that head belongs to that body, but I think that's what makes it fun and very stylized, is the fact that it's just, it doesn't belong. I think that's really funny. Now, for this, I think I'm going to go with a little bit of a darker jeans, kind of this way. Let's go with the top, and I'm going to do a single color as opposed to two colors. So let's go all the way down here. I like darker types of shirt. Like that. And if you want to have just one color of shirt, just copy the hex value here, go to the secondary color, just paste it here. I'm doing Control C and Control V. Control C is copy, Control V is paste. Click OK, and there you go. We have the same color shirt. And as always, I'm going to add a graphic, so it'll be super easy to add my logo over that shirt. And we forgot some shoes. I'll just give him some sneakers. There you go. We have a cool looking metahuman, cool looking and cool stylized metahuman. Now, in case anyone wonders about the range of motion of the face with something that is this stylized, let's do the range of motion animation. Oh, yeah, now you can see one of the problems here. You saw the teeth were clipping over it. The eyes look okay. When he's doing his cheek inflation. And yeah, so there are limitations to this. This isn't a full blown, full stylized kind of deal that we can do. But I think it looks fine. I think there's a lot of things we can do with this face, and I think that's a chewing motion or something. Let's go to idle part, just fine. I think the talking will be fine. We go into the facial poses, happy. Yeah, there's a little bit of an issue with the lips and the teeth over there. The lips are protruding. Let's go with fear. Oh. That scary face is actually real fun. Let's go with expression loops. Let's do happy B. That's cool. I like that smile. That's a pretty nice smile, and the teeth are not clipping through the lips. We go into maze. Oh, there you go. That's pretty funny. All right, so as you can see, this tool is fantastic. You can do some cool stylized character with these tools, and one of the things I may try with this is most likely how to get this head into a stylized body, so stay tuned for that. The other thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this in a coming video, is I'm going to attempt to do the Love, Death and Robots character in ZBrush, something like this. I'm going to try to mimic something like this. So I don't have this. This head is not for sale. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sculpt it in ZBrush, going back to my days of a character artist. And after I do that, I'm just going to bring it in. I use the Metahuman, but this one has realistic skin. So we're going to go for that realistic skin texture. We're probably going to give him some scars. And I'm going to try to utilize a more stylized body later on. So make sure you ring the bell, subscribe and all that for those coming tutorials. Now, thanks everybody for watching the video. Remember, leaving a like and leaving a comment goes a long way, helps a lot. There's a Patreon, there's a Twitter. Come to Discord if you need help with anything. Now I'm on Instagram as well. And I'll see you in the next video.